And welcome back to the Daily Dribble podcast, guys. As always, I'm your host, Nick Zammett. Here joining me on a Friday evening, Mr. Lee Hancock.
Practically a night podcast, this one, isn't it?
Well,
Jesus,
mate, it's 10 to 8. It is a night podcast. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes about it. It is a night podcast. Also joining us, Mr. Night Owl himself, Mr. Roy Hancock. How are you, buddy?
Yes, good, Nick. Very good. We're full swing into playoffs now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's been a big week, some big upsets.
What a wild week it's been. It has been phenomenal. The action's been non-stop. Plenty to digest there, isn't there?
Oh, there's been heaps. But firstly, Nick, I'd be remiss not to mention your long day/night.
Mate,
Shall we fill the
ahead.
people in?
Yeah.
What's happened?
Flew in on the red eye. I haven't had much sleep. I'm feeling pretty drained at this point in time. I had a little trip to the emergency room last night. Had and got home from soccer training.
Yes.
Was absolutely famished and had a nice bit of steak ready and waiting for me. And it just didn't go down the right hole. Like it just sat right in the throat. Couldn't breathe. Was having a real horrid time with it. So about 2:30, Ambo's rocked up off to the emergency room and. Shout out to the team at the Royal Hobart Hospital. Did a good number on me, sorted me out. And
Jeez, you're a soldier, aren't you, Nick?
Oh, mate,
like a true professional.
I've got battle wounds all over me. I'm sitting here like this tonight, though. The eyes are.
I tell you what, you see choking in the playoffs, but not this time.
Not this guy. No, we are here ready to fire up for a big episode, guys. What we're going to do today, we're going to rattle through some quick odds and ends, a couple from the NBL as well.
Yep.
And then we're just going to kind of have a bit of a conversation. We've got a few questions to pose. We're not going to recap every game from the week, but just pose a few questions that have stood out, who's underperformed, overperformed, underperformed, things like that, and just give our thoughts on that one.
Yep.
Guys, before we get into it, a big shout out. We are very fortunate to be part of 3 networks now. So the Pop Culture Pros, the Cover, and the Spotlight Sports Network. We can't thank all 3 of you enough for everything that you do and for just giving us a platform to be able to express ourselves as well as other up-and-coming creative content.
Absolutely.
Creative content creators. That wasn't a great sentence, but nevertheless, we appreciate everything you 3 are doing. Likewise, guys, be sure to continue to stay up to date with all of our socials, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. Like, subscribe, share the show, do all that good stuff. All the
fun stuff.
We certainly appreciate it. At the conclusion of this episode, by the time you listen to this episode, it probably will have been done and dusted, but we are about to go on Instagram Live after we wrap up this one to quickly announce the winner of our giveaway. A big thank you to everyone that entered that one. Certainly appreciate it, and certainly something we want to do more of in the future. Also,
absolutely.
I do have another announcement, but I might keep it for a few weeks' time.
Oh, he's mysterious.
Weeks,
Yeah. No, big things coming. The team here at the Daily Dribble, you're going to be able to rock out with us soon enough. But I'll bank that one for a couple of weeks.
What a cryptic clue.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, let's do it. Some odds and ends here. A couple of quick ones. Most notably, Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
You got the big one. The Defensive Player of the Year awards. Became the first guard in 25 years, not since 95-96, where the glove, Gary Payton, picked it up, has a guard won this award. So phenomenal there. Mikal Bridges in second, Rudy Gobert third. What do we think about this one, lads?
We already know what I think, but what do you guys think?
I think he deserved it. He's always been a great defensive player throughout his whole career. I just think he did jump the ladder really quickly. And I don't know if that was... Like I said, he's always been a great defensive player, but I think the narrative pushed him towards the end entirely, to be honest, because you saw Giannis. Yep. He's been one of the greatest this year defensively as well, and he just plummeted off that top 3, and Marcus Smart kind of came into it. So I think he does deserve it, but narrative played a lot into it.
I agree with you to a certain extent, just in the sense that I think this was more maybe based on the team award. Before he went down, Robert Williams was getting a lot of chat about him potentially being a candidate for the award.
Yeah.
So, I kind of feel as once he went out with injury, Marcus Smart just vaulted up the standings. And I think it kind of comes on the back of, this team having, I think they finished with the 2nd overall defense, that it almost feels like a team award, taking nothing away from Marcus Smart because he has had a phenomenal year and a phenomenal career. But it feels more based on what the team's success was.
Yeah, he thoroughly deserves it, though, doesn't he?
He does, absolutely. No question about it.
I think he even said it was more of a team award than it was his own individual award, which it was, 100%, but thoroughly deserved.
Does this open the pathway, do you think? Are we going to continue to see more of this, these guards kind of, becoming right up there in the running for these awards.
I mean, I hope so, but I thought like Ben Simmons a couple of years ago deserved it when he was playing point guard in Philly, but didn't get it. But hopefully it's the start of something good.
There you go. Fantastic. Congratulations there to Marcus Smart. I tell you what.
See him wear the robe into the playoffs game.
The what?
The robe.
I must have missed that one.
No, I didn't catch that
He
one.
wore a robe saying DPOY on the back.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah,
That's big energy. We love to see that.
I reckon he's already a
Love to see
very
that.
confident guy, but I reckon that's going to boost his confidence on the court as well.
100%. 100%. Guys, I've got a quick question. It kind of ties in with the playoffs, but I'll mention it now.
Sure.
During the week, we've had a couple of big injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Devin Booker with a grade 1 hamstring strain versus the Pelicans in game 2.
Yep.
Man was cooking in that first half. 31 points. He was on fire. Even had time to dab up a baby. But it's looking like he'll be out for 2 to 3 weeks with that hamstring strain.
Yep.
And then Chris Middleton suffered an MCL sprain. He's going to be very evaluated in 2 weeks, but it's looking at 3 to 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, which is the bigger, more impactful injury?
Let me just say, I'm happy to say who it is, but I'm not going to go into detail in it because I want to talk on that later.
Okay,
But
sure.
I'm going to say Devin Booker.
Yep. D-Book for mine as well.
Yeah, I'll go Booker too.
Yeah.
There you go.
Let's
I thought
talk
that
on
would
it
be the
later.
case.
We'll talk about that.
It depends which Chris Middleton you're talking about. though.
Oh,
You're talking
it's
about
the Ferris wheel jammed at the
Yes.
top, or is it on the way back down? You never know with that guy. We love it. Guys, a couple of quick things from the NBL. Now, this is an action-packed week. It all starts tonight. We've got a game tipping off in about, what's the time? Hour's time. Massive game between Illawarra and Perth.
Yep.
Has huge ramifications on what will happen over the postseason. Illawarra win, Perth lose, means that it's all going to come down. It'll come down to the Jack Jumpers beating Melbourne United and then Perth losing to the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix on the last day. So there is a chance. We are still in it.
We don't ask for much in life, Nick, do we?
But
this is one of the rare things that we
are
praying to the
for it.
heavens above.
And we did get a break. As much as I hate to say it, friend of the show, we love him dearly, Vic Law. He's gone down for the rest of the season with I need to get this right, syndesmosis injury to his right ankle. Right ankle. The old right ankle.
Hypotenuse.
Yeah. But
Yes.
it is a shame because what he does for this team, him and Cotton together, just incredible. So it's a big blow to Perth, but it does open the door a little more for us to make a run at it. Just speaking of Bryce Cotton, during the week, the top 3 candidates for all the awards were announced. I won't go into them all, but the big one, the MVP, it's between Joe Lualachul from Melbourne United, Jalen Adams from the Sydney Kings. Shout out to the boys from 5th and Dribble. They would be stoked to see a fellow Kings player in the mix there.
Well deserved.
And then Bryce Cotton from the Wildcats. Now, I don't know. I just want to get your take, but who's your pick in this one, Rose?
It is Bryce Cotton, but in saying that, if either of those other 2 blokes were to win it this year, I'd be more than happy with that. Those guys have had outstanding seasons. Like they've just been.
Not to mention Mitch Creek, even Vic Law himself.
Vic Law, yep. Two of the Tassie Jack Jumpers boys who are impressive.
And then amongst it, we've got a couple of I guess, what do you call them? Nominees, candidates. Clint Steindl, our captain for the 6th Man of the Year award, and fan favourite Scott Roth for Coach of the Year.
Scoff.
But just on that MVP situation, tell you what, when you see those 3 names and all the talent that you could feel for the top 10, it really is incredible that the health that the league's in at the moment. It is really a real purple patch for talent. So looking forward to seeing them announced next week, I believe. But yeah, it's hard to argue. Jalen Adams, for as good as he's been, the Kings are rolling. They've been on an absolute tear. But you've got to go Bryce Cotton. The guy is just a league legend at this point. It'd be awesome to see him reclaim his crown.
Which I think he will do. Exciting.
Brilliant. I'll just quickly on that then, my last question from the NBL. So, who's your pick for the title?
Well, okay.
Please feel free to weigh in with your pick.
I would if I bloody followed it.
I do think that Vic Law injury is quite significant.
I think so too. Massive.
And Perth were already looking a little bit shaky as it was.
Yep.
So, how long's Delhi out for?
No, he's out with a tooth injury. It's more load management for that game against the Jack Jumpers tomorrow. But it really is just a rest game. They've sewn up top spot pretty well. So
let's put it this way: if the Jack Jumpers don't make it into the finals, I think I'll go with Melbourne United. I think their top end talent is incredible.
I'm going to go the Kings.
Yep.
Just a masterclass
You don't
we
wanna-
went to the other week.
You don't want to bet against them again.
I tell you what, yeah, I've already lost the carton
dear.
already on that one, but they looked phenomenal when we saw them the other week. So
They did, yeah.
tell you what, it's going to be a wicked postseason. This time next week, we'll have the top 4 locked. Fingers crossed the Jack Jumpers are in amongst that, but nevertheless, looking forward to seeing how that plays out.
Yep. Lovely.
Beautiful. Let's move ahead, lads.
The Daily Dribble.
We might do it early this week. Let's do our favorite part of the segment, our Manscaped ad read. Guys, I'm going to tie it in with a own little personal story for today.
Okay. Hit it.
I'm currently off work. Got the week off. Holidays, beautiful.
Must be nice.
For anyone who knows me well, I have been known to shave my legs a little bit. I like the feel. I've got a bit of a tan, so I like rocking the shaved legs.
Aerodynamic.
Today was one of those days, and it took, I'd been a little bit slack, so it was quite an effort in the shower, slugging away, chopping through the forest.
Oh, God.
But you know what made it that much better?
You tell us, Nick.
Because I was in there. I had when I'm in the shower, I cranked the heat up. I got out and I was glowing.
Oh, dear. I can only imagine.
But with our friends over at Manscaped, their new release products, here's that one, the hydrating body spray. There you go. Good man, Lee.
Good Lee with the assist.
Thanks, pal. The hydrating body spray, this is an absolute must just for freshening up. There you go. Look at that, Lee. That's fantastic, mate. The hydrating body spray comes with that fragrance we know and love from Manscaped.
Yes.
Giving you that little pick-me-up you need when your body's depleted of all hydration once you get out of a hot, steamy shower. So, I attest to it because today it really brought me back to life.
Sorry.
No, please.
I was just about to say, Nick, this one took me by surprise, this body spray. The first time I used it, I thought it might have been more of a deodorant,
I know Lee thought that the other week. He thought it was a deodorant.
I'm gonna lie, I thought it was a deodorant. I was like, gee, this is some very hydrating wet deodorant.
Yeah.
But it cools your whole body temperature down just to the right amount, particularly after a hot shower or bath. I love our baths.
We love baths here, so it's brilliant. Not only can you look as cool as we do with a freshly shaved bush, you can now feel as cool as we do.
Yes, yep.
Use that code right there, Dribble20, manscaped.com.au for 20% off. And Roy, let them know the best part about that deal.
Free shipping.
20%
off.
Get in there. Free shipping. It's incredible.
Double.
Just quickly, your thoughts on the body spray? Loving it?
I love it. Ever
now that you know how to actually use it.
Wasn't a deodorant. I want to take it on some walks. I was thinking we did a walk the other weekend, and I was like, if I had some of that, Manscaped hydrating body spray right now, that'd be going.
Do you know the best thing about that?
What?
It's portable.
It
You can take it with you.
It is, mate. Guys, everyone, get involved. Manscaped.com.au. Use that code. There it is, right there. That one. Dribble20 for 20% off and free shipping. Manscaped, we love it. Thank you so much for the continued support.
Good.
Ooh, beautiful. Hydrating body spray. What can they do next? Actually, I was, because it was a long shower, I was brainstorming. You know what I think their next product should be? And I might pitch this to them.
Yeah.
I'm concerned, but yes.
Like a hair product, like a
yes.
like a gel or something of the kind. With that smell, that fragrance we all know and love. How good would that be? I just had that the wheels were turning in the shower. What do you reckon?
Good one.
I think, well, they continue to expand, don't they, man?
You could even style what little pubic hair you have left after you use the lawnmower 4.0.
Well,
downstairs.
I don't know. They've got to contact us.
Absolutely.
Address, so maybe hit them up and
hit them up. We'll see what we can do. Beautiful. Guys, let's get into it. You know what?
The Daily
There you go.
Dribble.
Let's starting the old button there. Beautiful. Guys, the playoffs.
Yeah.
This is the moment,
Nick.
we have spoken about it for weeks upon weeks upon weeks on end. It's the moment we all love. We wait for all season. 82 games. We slog through, plus change with the playing.
Yeah.
We've made it to the playoffs, and what a week it has been, Lee.
Been a good one.
So we've got a couple of questions here. We'll rip through, and then we can just talk about anything that comes to mind. But we might start with the question here. And before we do, I always forget. I'll leave it a bit late. Guys, with our answers, let us know what you think. Hit us up on our socials, where we went right, where we went wrong. If any of our players or teams you don't agree with, let us know.
Absolutely.
Let us know. We'd love to have a chat with all you guys. So be sure to hit us up. Lee, which player or team has overperformed for you so far?
Overperformed. I think it'd be criminal not to mention Jordan Poole at this stage and what he's doing in the playoffs and his first playoff series as well, if I'm not mistaken. Or if it's his first or second, it's his first that he's being put in the deep end. He's a star.
Been cooking.
He's been cooking. He had 31 in the first game, 29 in the second, and he had 27 in the third win over the Nuggets today. It's undeniable that Steph and Clay are probably the best backcourt duo shooters ever.
Yep.
But you add Jordan Poole into that mix, it's absolutely lethal.
It's unfair.
The experience he's already getting around Steph and Clay on the Golden State Warriors, you couldn't pick a better place for Jordan Poole to be right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the fact that he's getting minutes in the playoffs and he's performing in the playoffs, God, this guy's going to go through the roof.
And I had him as well. I had another player who I'll mention in a moment, but I did have Jordan Poole as well. You know what I love about his game that's really impressed me, just probably in the last 6 to 12 months? Like when he came into the league, he was a little bit gun-ho.
He was.
And it was just
Bull in a China shop type stuff.
Yeah. Raging Bull. Just, a bit of a, I wouldn't say a bricklayer, but he just got a little bit carried away at times and kind of was all or nothing. But he's really, the composure he's brought now to his game, it's really like, he looks a different level. He really looks like, as been going around, that third splash brother. The ability and confidence this team now have to give him the ball and know that he's going to make the right decision is huge.
Isn't it crazy? Is he about 21 years of age?
Yeah, 22, 21, 22, 22, I believe.
And he's matured this much over the course of what's essentially been a season.
Yep.
It's unbelievable. And I tell you what, that statement that I made last week that he could be a 25-point-a-night player on any other team, I think that's got a bit of weight behind it after this playoff
it gets
series.
more weight when the lights are on brightest, and he's been doing it. This week has been incredible.
I know exactly what you mean, though, when you said, like, when I saw him come into the league, it was that same draft that Eric Pascal went to Golden State as well. He's traded now. But, like, I thought he was going to be a bust, to be honest. I was, like, on Cameo when he was first drafted, and he was doing, like $50 cameos.
Really?
If we had a go,
we missed a trick. We missed a trick there.
That's the equivalent of missing out on Bitcoin.
The old Bitcoin. I tell you what, that's honestly, you've got me on a rabbit hole, but that is my biggest regret. High school, I had a mate who was he was a bit of a computer wizard.
Okay.
And he said, like, just as it started, put $100 into Bitcoin.
Oh.
And I said to him, I was like, have you? He's like, no. I was like, well, I'm not doing it then.
You got to lead by example.
I kid you not. It would I would not be sitting here now. I would be sipping a little fat mojito at some beach in the Maldives. Like,
such a shame.
The amount it would have turned into.
That's made me physically sick.
Yeah. I each time I think of it, and like I was so close to doing it as well. But at that
what
point
would that be the equivalent to now? How much is it worth these days?
I couldn't tell you. It'd be worth millions upon millions of dollars. So
yes.
I digress there, but what could have been?
Who was your player or team?
My overperformer was Tyrese Maxey with the Philadelphia 76ers. I mean, throughout this series, he's been the second option to Joel Embiid. Yeah. He's been incredible.
Isn't that huge?
Started out on absolute fire in game one with 38 points. Mind you, that was on 14 of 21 shooting, so he was as efficient as it came. And I don't know, like Tyrese Maxey is one of these guys who, even though I've seen, I guess, good glimpses throughout the course of his career so far, he probably hasn't been able to string it together as well as he perhaps would have liked to.
Man is rapid as well.
Yeah. Oh, like, he's so quick. He's so quick.
He's like, his outside stroke, really good as well.
Yes.
But when he gets in that lane and attacks, like you cannot catch him. It's like seeing Sonic the Hedgehog move.
I know.
Like in that blue kid as well.
And him in combination with Joel Embiid are such a dangerous duo. But yeah, back to Tyrese Maxey, 38 in the first game. In the second game, 23 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. And in the third game, 19 points. Which is huge when you argue that he's third or fourth option, depending on where you see Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
Massive if you're getting that sort of production.
Oh, it's crazy. And it's sort of scary to think. He's the guy actually who I was thinking of who's 21 years of age, Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
If he's performing this well in perhaps the biggest series of his career so far, who knows what he can do.
I can't wait to see what his ceiling is.
Yeah.
It's really, really high. I've got one here who I won't speak about too much, but just he was an honourable mention. Jalen Brunson.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what he's
doing...
get him out of honourable mention. Put him in your starting
I could have. I went Jordan Poole, but Brunson, they've got that series at 2-1 without Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
And might I just say, like, man, he's going to get paid.
Oh, he's
He
going to get a
is.
bag
Brunson
and a
is
half.
about to get a big bag,
Yep.
and he deserves it. Like, I was super high. I think he was my 6th man of the year prediction.
Yep.
But he's a bowler. He's a bowler, and all 3 of these guards, like, they're just showing out at the minute.
And he's still super underrated as well.
Super underrated.
Doesn't get any credit just due to the fact that obviously Luka takes all the attention, rightly so, but you've got absolute dogs like Jalen Brunson.
Tell you what, they're a scary proposition once Luka comes back. I can't wait to see what they can do. But Brunson, so all 3 of those players, Maxey, Brunson, Poole, killing it.
Yes. How old's Brunson? I was just going to say they're all young. I don't know how old Brunson is, though, to be honest.
I could give you a number, but it'd be just pissing in the wind. Let's go to the other side of the coin, the underperformers of Roy.
Yeah, I'll start us off here.
I wonder if we'll all have the same.
I reckon 2 of us will at least.
Yeah, I
think
reckon
so.
we'll have a couple similar.
Massive underperformers, Toronto Raptors.
Okay.
Many picked them to win this series against the Philadelphia 76ers.
We both did.
Yeah,
I know I
You
did.
both did, and I was the odd one out, and
Yeah.
I
You
stand.
were the odd one
and
out.
that podcast got canned.
Yeah.
It
So-
did get canned, but there's no proof to say
Yeah,
that you ended
yeah.
up going to
I-
Philly, so who really cares?
Majority wins on that one.
No, but they've been absolutely blown out in every single game that they've been a part of. They've looked so far off the mark, it's not funny.
Yeah.
Credit to Philly. They've obviously played out of their skin as well, and they're living up to a bit of, I guess, playoff hype that people had around them. But it's really disappointing for me in Game 3 when the game was on the line. You've got both Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet with 12 points each in a playoff game, in a defining playoff game,
And yet they
at home.
and they still had the win just about.
And
Like if Precious Achua, who missed 2 free throws with like 30 seconds to go,
It's
one of my main points
not,
in the
not good enough.
one of my main points in the podcast that got canned was that they don't have a dedicated shooter. They don't have a go-to shooter. And that showed in that Game 3. They both had 12 points.
I think it's fair to say.
because of injuries, though.
What's that, sorry?
Do you think it hurts because of injuries? Like they have had a rough run. Like Gary Trent's struggled a bit with injuries. Scotty Barnes going down.
Yeah.
It doesn't
who's
help.
Arguably, probably their best defender, even as a rookie.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
they've had a bit of a rough run.
yeah, it certainly doesn't help, and it's always difficult. But every team is at that risk of having those injuries at that time of the year. But just I just feel like after the regular season that they've had, where they've impressed so many people, they've overexceeded the expectations of probably the majority of the NBA community. To go out like this, if it's a sweep, that'll be just a huge disappointment given the fact that some people thought that they'd win this series.
Do you believe in miracles?
Well,
Like the ultimate miracle, 4 on the bounce.
no, I don't. No, not after what I've seen so far. It's been disgusting.
Going for the sweep.
Well,
Nick?
a player I've got here is
Player.
Kevin Durant.
KD, yeah.
I think KD. Now, I just want to, like, granted, so in Game 2 the other day, he had 27 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. 18 of those points were from the line. How's this? Across his 2 games, he's gone 13 of 41 from the field, so 32%. He's had 8 assists across those 2 games, yet 12 turnovers.
Oh,
And in that game the other day, Game 2, in the second half, when it was there to be won, went 0 of 10
0 of 10.
and had 4 turnovers. This is really his opportunity. Like, even in press conferences, you hear Giannis say that KD's still the best in the world. Like, this is his chance to really kind of flex some muscle. And, I know they've still got to go home and play. So, it can turn the screws. But he's been pretty poor. And just efficiency-wise, he's kind of renowned as he just, so methodical and gets to his spot and knocks it down.
Exactly.
Like, it's really kind of stood out to me. The other player with that as well, I just tied it in because it's been the same kind of one, Trae Young. How's this? 34.5% from the field.
Not good enough.
2 of 17 from 3 across these 2 games. So 12% from 3 and 16 turnovers across 2 games. So both those players really need to step up if they're going to have any chance of getting back in this series.
Playoffs more than ever is when these players need to take extra careful care of the ball. Those turnovers are so they're a coach killer, aren't they? And they can be the difference between winning and losing, even a few in the vital stages. They're key stats. What was that shooting
0
field
of
goal
10 in
from
the second.
3 for Trae?
2 of 17, so 12%.
2 of 17.
No kidding.
That's a tour date. Oh, that's ridiculous.
That's a brick shot.
On KD, I did hear him say, can't remember where, but he did say he finally knows how Steph feels, on offense, getting hounded by the defense, because you've never seen any other player be hounded by defense more than Steph Curry, and they're on KD the same.
But he always comes out on top, Steph, doesn't he?
Yeah,
That's the difference.
That's the difference. Built different.
Built
tough.
Mine was the Brooklyn Nets, and the record just shows that they're underperforming, but it's hard because the Celtics really are overperforming as well. Like, they could have been a candidate for my overperformers. They're playing absolutely outstanding, especially defensively. But on the net side, you look at where their downfalls is. So KD is obviously one of them. He's not playing to his, highest potential. But then I probably look at the coaching staff, and I was looking at Steve Nash. I heard Stephen A say something that kind of opened my eyes, and he said, it's one thing to know the game. We know Steve Nash's IQ's through the roof, but it's another thing to teach it. And he might not have to teach it to KD and Kyrie, but he's definitely going to have to teach it to these other guys. And that kind of just opened my eyes. They're 2-0 against the Boston Celtics right now. Lose another, they're on the verge of a sweep, and that would be unheard. That would be
disastrous, wouldn't it?
I take it all with a grain of salt, like all these series that are 2-0, just for the fact that, the away team hasn't played in front of their crowd. A series doesn't really start until the home team loses. So, they could bounce back, rip off 2 wins at home, and really game on. They just about had that game the other day, a bit of Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum link up in game 1.
Yes.
What a phenomenal play that was on the buzzer.
What a finish.
Wowee. But, that's still a fascinating series.
It is.
Guys, speaking of that, upsets, they are well and truly on the cards at the moment. Which series do you think is most likely of an upset?
Want me to go?
I might take this one, actually. Screw you.
God.
Yeah, I've got a couple here. I think there could be a few.
Oh, well, hurry up. Let's go.
Come on,
if we're biting each other's heads off, get a show on the road.
I've missed it.
I think the Pelicans and Suns is probably the one, and especially with Booker looking out for maybe 2 to 3 weeks. Definitely game 3 and 4 look off the cards. The Pelicans getting that 1-1, that 1-1 split away from home is huge. Is really huge, and the production they're getting from Ingram, I tell you what an acquisition he's been. CJ McCollum, probably one of the most underrated mid-season trades. He has fitted in seamlessly to this team. It doesn't look as if him and Ingram are kind of fighting for position. Butting heads. They just coexist perfectly together. I think this one, I could see the Pelicans taking this.
And I'm fearful of that. That was mine as well.
And I think just for that fact, we've seen as of late in particular, especially the last couple of weeks of the regular season, Devin Booker really dominating that scoring side of things. Once you take him out, Chris Poole will pick up the slack, Ayton will pick up the slack, Bridges, but it's going to be more so dispersed. They're not going to have, I don't think, an out-and-out scorer who's going to put up 30, 35 points a night, as which they had with Booker.
I mean, he is their leading scorer in the end of the day. And, that last game where Pelicans won, they won by 11, and that was with D-Book playing 24 minutes and also scoring 31 points. So he still was in the game now.
Went off at halftime.
He went off at halftime, but picture a game where he plays 0 minutes and gets 0 points. You said, other guys are going to have to pick up the slack, but no one's going to be able to kind of fill Devin Booker's shoes.
Do you think, though, maybe, because it looks like they certainly have been feeding him more as of late. Do you think maybe it might just keep the offense a little more unpredictable now that he's out?
I guess so. They
get more mouths involved, give a little bit of unredictability.
Well, yeah, we said that last week, I think, didn't we? That there's a few teams when one person goes down, the other guys stand up, and
it's man-up mentality.
You're 100% correct in saying that it's sort of they have to pick it up on the fly, so it's not ideal for them, obviously, but it also makes it not ideal for the opposition because they have to adjust their whole game plan that they had coming into the series. But I think all in all, the Suns would like D-Book to be out there. That's for sure. Do you want to go, Leo? I'll go.
Yeah, that was mine. Suns.
Oh, that was yours as well. Yeah, my series. Now, I don't know if we'd consider it an upset, but I guess I would, given the player who hasn't been out there. The Mavs over the Jazz, would that be considered an upset given the fact that Luka Doncic hasn't been out, their star player,
for the first,
three games, potentially more?
Yeah, I'll pay it.
I'm going for it anyway.
I think so. Go it. You do you.
I reckon I reckon the Mavs will get over the top of them, particularly
Good.
taking that
Look
one
good.
in Utah as well.
Yeah.
It was sort of just like that must have been so demoralizing for the Utah Jazz to come into home court thinking, okay, let's stop mucking around here. And to have all the sort of outside noise coming in on them, to falter on the brighter stage of all is absolutely inexcusable for them.
Yep.
Without Luka Doncic playing.
They've really bottled this so far.
They've
bottled this. They have missed a huge opportunity to be 3-zip up without Doncic. Like one of the best players in the league on the court.
Yeah.
Making a meal of it.
Oh, it's been shocking, and it's just throwing more weight to our Utah Jazz to blow it up at the end of the season. Hypothetical scenario that we've been throwing around a lot lately,
That's
but
becoming more and more,
likely. Yeah,
more and more likely. Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Speaking of which, a couple of other series I think that could all potentially be upsets. I tell you what, they blew it today, though. They were up 25 points with 2.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. I thought the Timberwolves, I was like, 2-1 up here. Look out. Look out. They blew it against the Grizzlies. A horrible loss there. But I still think, if they get it to 2 each, they get that one at home, 2 each. There is potential there, I think. They've shown, Towns, he's had a shocking series. He's been pretty awful.
Very reminiscent of like Randall in that Hawks versus New York series.
Yeah, good shout. Yeah, so I still think there's potential there for an upset. And with Middleton out as well, with what the Bulls did to the Bucks the other day at home for the Bucks, they've got that series poised at 1 each as well. Heading back to the Windy City now. Tell you what, DeRozan had a stinker in game 1. Wow, what a comeback in game 2 there. I think it was it 45 points roughly?
41.
Oh, yeah, 41. 41 it might have been. Sorry, I was thinking someone else with 45. But nevertheless, tell you what, they look good when they're firing on all cylinders.
Oh, they do.
What do you reckon? Upset in that one, maybe?
Oh, look, I pressed this button last week.
Stay off the damn weed.
For those who were going to be choosing Chicago in that series, but now I'm not fully convinced that that button was correct to be pushed last week.
Yeah, you got a little bit trigger happy, didn't you, mate?
I think I did.
You and I running the show, you thought, we'll just start hammering.
I got excited with the new buttons, and that's going to be my downfall, perhaps. But no, look, I'm still expecting the Bucks to win that series, but the Bulls will make them work for it. They'll make them work for it.
Lee, any chances of an upset in that one? Bulls and Bucks?
I think so. I think people rode off the Bulls too quickly, and I get why, because the Bucks are such a dominant team,
and the Bulls are being
champs,
and the Bulls had a horrid end of season run, but
a horrid season in terms of beating the top couple of teams.
Yeah,
horrid.
Yeah, they did. But I think they definitely, it's on the table as an upset.
Beautiful. Agreed. Then, well, speaking of teams that we don't expect upset, a team that we expect to just roll through things. Which team has your finals? Which team is your finals winner? Has it changed at all?
Mine has, to be honest. Yeah.
Who have you got? Ooh.
This one's been so hard. I think in the West, if we're looking at Western Conference Finals, I think Golden State are definitely getting there.
Who wins the championship?
Yeah, I know. I'm just leading up to it.
Oh,
leading up to it. And I think the Suns are going to get there too. Look, I think Golden State are going to take them in the Western Conference Finals. I think it'll be a 76ers versus Celtics Eastern Conference Finals. Hard, but Celtics will come out on top, and Golden State are going to take it home, in my opinion.
Tell you what, it'll be fun. Fun series.
Very fun.
Fun series between those two. Ro, who have you got?
So for the championship, I previously had the Phoenix Suns. Now, this Devin Booker injury is significant. 3 to 4 weeks. And, hamstring injuries, not sure if you've had many yourself, but they blow out. They do blow out. So
if you don't give it ample time to get right, if you kind of come back 50-50, that is a surefire way to be back on the sidelines very, very quickly.
Suns were my short favourites before, but that injury has changed my opinion. I'm going with the Golden State Warriors for the championship this year.
Yeah.
Golden State Warriors, everything is clicking at the right time for them. They've been cruelled with injuries throughout really the course of the last few seasons and again this season. But come the playoffs, the most important time of the year, they've got all their big dogs out there and they're playing with so much swagger, so much so that they've had Steph Curry coming off the bench.
Let's chat about that for a minute.
I love it.
An absolute,
it's a power move, Nick.
It is. That is some big dick energy from
It
Steve
is,
Kerr.
honestly.
To be able to bring off the bench, arguably, again, one of the greatest players in the league, the greatest shooter in the league's history.
Yeah.
Like, what a luxury that is. And it's awesome. Just credit to him having that attitude, that maturity to be fine with it.
Lack
Yeah.
of ego.
Yeah,
Exactly. And that's
yeah.
why they're such a wicked franchise from top to bottom, because there is no ego there.
Imagine if you're the second stringer PG coming on and you look out and Steph's out there just lighting you up.
So was your finals prediction, was it Golden State as well?
I think
Who did you pick?
to make the finals, I reckon Golden State and Milwaukee are still my two favourites.
And who's taking it home?
Golden State.
Yeah.
To win the
Like
championship.
even today when I was watching them, you can just tell they've been here so many times before. They know what they're doing and what to expect.
And even Iggy today putting down a dunk.
Oh,
38
how
years
dirty.
old. Iggy Pop just
Yeah.
rewinding the clock there. But
They're unfazed by the big moments, aren't they, Golden State?
so fun.
Yep.
I've got them as well. You know, I think they were my pick at the start of the season. They look fantastic. As you said, Ro, put it perfectly. Everything's clicking at the right time.
It is.
Interested to see how this plays out over the coming weeks in regards to Curry off the bench. Seems to be working a treat at the moment.
Working for now.
So more than happy to see that continue. I've got them coming up against the Heat in the finals.
That'd be tasty.
What a matchup that would be on both ends of the court in terms of defense and offense.
Yep.
The weapons both teams have from three would be a hell of a series.
And the other thing that makes me excited about that is both teams who have had guys who have been there, done that, gone to the finals,
know what it takes.
Heat haven't got there, but that might add to their fuel to the fire to actually get there and compete with them. That would be incredible. I'd love that.
Tell you what, that game was a game 2 the other day. Jimmy Butler had.
God,
How reminiscent was it of the NBA Finals a couple of years ago, down in the bubble against the Lakers?
Yeah.
When he's in attack mode, like he just looks like a different animal. And sometimes he's, kind of here and there, all over the place. But when he locks in, fully engages on that offensive end, he is unstoppable.
Playoff Jimmy's a different Jimmy, isn't he?
He was just a walking bucket the other day. And it's like it just adds another dimension to this Heat team.
That's such a deep roster, that Heat team. They're scary. When their bench comes on, that's arguably as, I don't know, intimidating as the starters. To have like blokes like Tyler Herro coming off the bench, Dunk Robinson coming off the bench, Oladipo coming off the bench. Come on.
I tell you what, good segue into our next question, kind of, a roundabout way of putting it. But which team do you think is most likely to blow it up once they're eliminated? Now, the consensus answer would be the Jazz. But is there any other teams?
I haven't said blow it up, but if the Nets lose this round 1, changes are going to be made. And I
was just about to say, you still got to add Ben Simmons into the fold. So we're not seeing him at, is he expected game 3 or 4?
I think.
Game 4.
I know Do
you give that a chance to actually run its course? You've still got to wait on Joe Harris to come back.
I don't think they'll blow it up in terms of players. I'm just saying changes are going to be made. I don't know if
what changes.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's coaching stuff. I think there'll have to be a culture change. I don't know. Because if they lose that round 1, that would be, and I don't know if they will, and I don't think it'll be a sweep, but I think changes will be made if they do lose.
So if it was you, would you say on court? Like if you were running the ship?
I wouldn't change the core of Kyrie, KD, and Ben Simmons. But maybe
what would you change?
Maybe have a second glance at the coaching staff. I mentioned Steve Nash earlier. He may be on the hot seat after his 1 season.
Maybe just like an attitude change.
Attitude change. Add some culture.
Bit of Heat culture, baby.
Yep.
There we go. Ro, what do you reckon?
I mean, we've spoken so much about the Utah Jazz over the last few weeks. So I'm not even going to go into that.
Well, actually, one point, just quickly.
Yep.
Because we've spoken about if it does eventuate, which piece it might be. Apparently, during the week, Knicks staff members were there watching Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, they'd be silly not to.
Tell you what, how would we feel about that? Mitchell going to the bright lights of New York. What a move that would be.
Yeah, look, the natives of the Big Apple would love that, wouldn't they? But
it gives them that big name star.
It gives them the Billboard player that we were talking about the other week, Nick.
Absolutely.
Do we reckon that will happen though? The reason being is D-Wade's recently come over to the Utah Jazz. He's very close with Donovan Mitchell. If he has anything to say about it, I don't think they're letting go of Donovan Mitchell.
So I think if they bow out first round here, which it's looking poised for, I reckon it could be.
I think they're making changes. They're making changes. Obviously.
They are. They've got to. They've got to. It's like what an underwhelming last 3 or 4 seasons it's been for them.
Yep.
Finishing so high in the regular season. The squad they've assembled looks phenomenal each year in and year out. Like it really looks incredible from top to bottom, yet continually falling short.
Still don't know what the missing piece is. To
I actually don't. No.
That's how. Yeah. Is it? I was about to say, is it aging bodies? But really, it's only Mike Conley that's kind of on that latter end. All the others are kind of in and around their prime.
Like on paper, they're a championship team, aren't they? Like they've got the offensive talent, the defensive talent, the shooters, the depth, the coach. Like I just don't know what else you can ask for.
It's bizarre, isn't it? It's really crazy. Is bizarre what's not clicking. And probably maybe the biggest thing there that we didn't mention is that chemistry side of things. You know, all that disharmony, Rudy and Donovan Mitchell.
Well, they're not passing to Rudy Gobert.
Oh, I know. You've got one of the best big men. Like, you know, he's not that outside threat, but get him deep in the paint there.
Yeah,
he's going to go to work, especially against these smaller ball Mavs lineups. Really been underutilized there, and it just kind of shows where they're at.
Yeah,
you know, that lack of chemistry and not giving him the ball. It's going to come back and bite them in the ass pretty quickly, I imagine. But sorry, Roy.
So the other team that I had noted down here were the Atlanta Hawks. I think they're very likely, in my opinion, to make changes over the offseason. I think Clint Capella is one who might be dished off elsewhere, particularly with the, I guess, the surgence of Okongwu. He looks like he's the future at that big man position for the Atlanta Hawks. And I think they can still get value from Clint Capella regardless.
The
other player is John Collins. Now, he's been a guy who's been trade bait for a fairly long while now, and I don't envisage that will change too much over the offseason because he hasn't set the world alight by any stretch of the imagination. I think the Atlanta Hawks, they know that they aren't over the hump just yet to be serious, legitimate contenders. So I think they need to make a few of these, particularly while Trae Young's in his prime, a few of these changes just to get them over the hump to be contending with the Bucks and the Celtics and Philly and these other teams, the Heat.
I like that point on Okongwu. I think what would be perfect for them is to get rid of Capella. Like I think he's done there. Okongwu's the future, but have behind him, get like I don't want to say Dwight Howard or someone like that, but someone who's a competent veteran big man.
JaVale McGee.
Perfect. Perfect. There you go. Yeah. Someone who can come off the bench and fill those minutes and do a really adequate job, but also nurture that younger player in Okongwu. Really get the most out of him.
Yep.
Because he's a real talent. But yeah, I think Capella's time's there, done and dusted.
Yep.
I had the Hawks as well. But another team I had was the Miami Heat. Now, not in terms of blowing it up, but I think there could be the potential there to kind of consolidate some assets.
Okay.
You know, I think there's almost too much depth that if you kind of put a package together and got another, you know, real talented player to kind of consolidate a little bit what they've got, have a real strong 7 as opposed to a real strong 9.
So reduce their depth.
Reduce their depth a little bit. And I think that's the kind of qualm we had with Atlanta last year, this year. They had all that abundance of talent that was just getting wasted.
I mean, that's what I was going to say. The Hawks can do the exact same. Like, they've got so many good backcourt players from Trae Young.
Lou Williams still there?
Yeah, you got Lou Williams and then Delon Wright. You've got Hot Fire. Kevin Huerter. You got Bogdanovic. That's 5 I've named.
Gallinari.
Yep, Gallinari too.
He's going to be off in the summer. He's going to be out of here.
I think so as well.
Yeah, were there any more from you, Lee?
No.
Is it like there's?
Can I just touch on that point, Nick, that you made about the Heat and consolidating? I think that's a very good point, and I think the prediction is fair because that's okay. Because come playoffs, as we all know, they shorten their rotations, don't they? The depth doesn't actually matter as much. To have another legitimate quality, they've got the value players there to put up on the market to get a really good player in return. So even if it's not a star, if you can get a really good, competent role player who you can rely on a nightly basis, I reckon the Heat should seriously consider that.
I think so too. Like they're almost too good. Tell you who's been a bit disappointing this season. He had a great game in game 1, I believe it was, off the bench. He lit things up. But Duncan Robinson,
He did,
don't
yes.
love him.
he's gone to the bench this season. Well, in the back half of the season, should I say.
Mhm.
It just isn't quite firing on all cylinders. And it's really, you've seen a big reduction in his minutes as of late.
Yeah.
And, you're competing them with minutes, Hero, Oladipo, all these other guys off the bench. It's, it's interesting. A bit of a fall from grace there for him.
A bit of a fall from grace. But that first game that he played, that game
money.
where he went 8 from 9 for the 3-point line, 9 for 10 from the
Broken.
field, he was on another level. But he is one of those guys who you either catch him at his best or you catch him at his worst. He does not have in between games.
And it's like a Davis Bertans, isn't
Yeah.
it? They're such one-dimensional players that if they're not hitting that 3 ball, then they're really...
It's ugly.
It's exactly what I was going to say. You've got one job, but that one job comes with so much responsibility. And
What do they say, Lee? With great power comes great responsibility.
That's it.
There's the weekly quote. Good stuff.
There you go. There you go. Fellas, what do you reckon in regards to sweeps? Out of any of the series at this point, do you have any been sweeps?
Yeah,
What do you got?
Toronto's getting swept next
Toronto?
game.
Are the Nuggets getting swept?
Yep, they are as well.
Losing another at home?
Yep.
Oh, God.
Yoke's been trying so hard, but
He has been,
But
but-
you can only try so hard.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I can't see, based off what I've seen so far, I can't see the Raptors getting over Philly, which is a shame because I would have loved the Raptors to get up.
So would I.
And then, Warriors are just on another level. I don't see many teams beating them this playoff series. What about you?
Just going to bounce to 2 points here real quickly,
Yep.
just from the Philly series. How tough was that 3 that Embiid hit to ice that game?
Big boys like that shouldn't be hitting shots like that.
7-footer.
That was crazy, and it was, just kind of one of those moments where you see everybody saying, right, that's kind of, even though it's a regular season award, but you've got to give that man the MVP.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how that 1, 2, 3 spot has just rotated massively over the last few months?
That's
And
crazy.
He's probably is back up there now, isn't he?
It's crazy. It's crazy what he's able to do and what big men in the league can do now. Like, it has evolved so much over the last decade or two.
Yep.
Phenomenal.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Who do you think now is the best big man shooter in the game? Like, there was Cat after he won the 3-point contest. Now I'm probably Joel Embiid in real honesty, though, right?
Big man shooter.
Can you say KD? Is that cheating?
No, you can't say KD.
like pure big
Pure
man?
big man.
He'd have to be up there, Joel Embiid, wouldn't he?
He knocks them down with quite a high level.
And that mid-range jumper, I saw him do like a 360 turnaround fadeaway jumper. You
Yeah.
look
Tell
like
you what,
dirt.
he's not quite at that same level, but take nothing away from Giannis.
Yes.
Like his
Yeah.
stroke from mid-range, from the outside, the development in his game is crazy. It's scary to think as well how young he is and how much time he has left to dominate the league still. Like,
It's crazy because at the conclusion of every season, we've said, okay, so he's pretty much the perfect player, but if he does this over the off season,
improve his
he'll
free
be
throws.
unstoppable.
Done that.
Yep.
Perfect. Gets an outside stroke.
Done
Done
that.
that. No worries.
Yep.
Mid-range jumper. Done that.
Overall IQ just increases
Yeah.
by the season.
And winner.
And a winner.
Winner now,
Yes.
which is the big
Yeah.
thing. The one thing we said about the Bucks, we were talking about the Nuggets and
Mm.
Raptors, but we've gone to the Bucks. But the Bucks just being perennial, like the Jazz, underachievers, flaming out. But he looked just like a different animal this year after getting over that hump, getting that chip, bringing it home to Milwaukee. Wow, what a player!
It's funny you
what a
mentioned
player!
It's funny you mentioned that though, because just throughout the week I was going through the Daily Dribble archives and I was looking at a few of our older episodes.
Bashing on him, bashing on the Bucks, bashing on
What happened?
No.
No.
Fair to say we're like a fine wine. We have improved with
Oh.
time. I would have liked to think.
Yes.
But I think it was the season before the Bucks won the championship. And I remember Lee saying, look, he has got it all going. If he can improve his, I guess, shooting from outside, then who knows what can happen. And that very next season, he improved all aspects of his game and
Did
they
you get
won
in
the
his ear, big
championship.
fella?
I must
Did you give him a pep talk?
He must listen.
Come on, big man, time to do something.
Must tune into the pod.
Well, I reckon both those series as well are probably going to be sweeps. Once you're at 3-zip, it's hard to find the motivation to get up and about. The mathematical chances of coming out as a winner, going 4 on the 4 on the bounce are slim and none, really.
Yeah.
So both of them. Last question, fellas.
Mm.
Which series so far are you enjoying the most? Now, I've got a feeling I know where you're going, but I'll ask you nevertheless, Ro.
I mean, this Boston series has been incredible. As a Boston fan, particularly with a team with Kyrie Irving on it, it just makes it that much sweeter at the moment. There's a long way to go, 100% understand that. But what I've seen so far has made me thoroughly enjoy every second so far.
Brilliant. Positive sign to Lee.
It's going to sound weird because both series I'm going to mention are the ones that are going 3-0 right now. So I've just been absolutely loving Golden State, seeing them absolutely on fire, and also the 76ers, mainly because I was the only one out of us three who was like, yeah, I think they're taking it home.
Well and good to say that
It's
now.
rigged. No,
It's all well and good to say that now. There's no proof of it. But no, you are right. Yeah. And it's funny how quickly we all, and like I did it, we did it, wrote off Philly.
Well, I guess we only had what we've seen in previous seasons to go off.
Is it all clicking now, do you think, maybe?
Almost. I think I just had more faith because I believed in James Harden a bit more than you two did. And he's obviously a massive vital cog to the 76ers.
Which is see this level of Tyrese Maxey, though, performing.
I know.
Like, he's certified killer.
Yeah.
And the other, I guess the other thing, like full credit to Philly, but the other thing you have to take into consideration is Toronto aren't playing good basketball at the moment. So they come up against a team like perhaps the Milwaukee Bucks, and who knows what could happen in the playoffs.
That'd be a good series.
Even without Chris Middleton, it's going to be a step up above Toronto Raptors.
I'm going to say my series is kind of based on what I've seen so far and what I think is going to happen. I'm going to say the Bucks and Bulls.
Yeah, I see that.
I'm really, really intrigued by what's going to happen for the remaining couple of games here. I think the Bulls are really poised to maybe turn some heads and cause a massive boil over. Regardless, whatever happens, I see it going deep. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out.
A lot of interesting series to come.
Fellas, how good is it? Playoff basketball, the action, the intensity, everything's dialed up to 11.
Yeah.
It truly is the best time to be a basketball fan.
By far. It's going to be sad when it's all over, Nick.
Oh, it is. I know. We're going to have to plan what the get a grip on what's happening in the off seasons. But the great thing about the NBA, there's always something going on. The news, the rumor mill, always ticking over. So rest assured, the season will end, but we won't. No. We just keep going, pounding out content. We love it. Lads, what a week it's been. One thing, you give us a prediction, just any prediction. It can be on a game, on a player exploding for next week. What have you got?
Kyrie Irving to go into the crowd in Boston and belt someone.
Got fined $50,000. I tell you what, he got let off lightly for that, didn't he? Because he cussed them all out, flipped them off. The press conference. He kind of jammed it all into $150,000 fine. He's done pretty well there.
He's done all right.
So you reckon he's going to flog someone?
Oh, he's already been he's been just on the brink of absolutely losing.
How fun would that be?
I reckon he's not far away.
My prediction is that the Hawks get back into this series. I reckon they win the 2 at home and it goes to 2-all. That's bold.
That is bold.
Lee, what have you got for us?
Okay.
God, what do I have for you? I reckon, look, I think Phoenix versus Pels are going to 7.
Going to 7.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I could say.
Who would have thought?
Imagine, let's just a hypothetical situation. Imagine if both the Suns and the Bucks are knocked out. Bulls and Pelicans get through. Imagine that.
Imagine if you had a multi going for those both to get knocked out in the first round.
What a horrible, horrible time would be to be a punter with all that. Like if you put on a bet at the start of the year, like a finals winner, like the Suns, you see Booker go down. Well, shit.
Yeah.
Awesome. Nets, you put they were pretty short priced. You put something on them at the start of the season. You've seen everything that's go wrong having to come through the play. 2-zip down now. You know, it really is a horrible time.
The worst thing about basketball is the injuries, and I think that's fair to say. We've seen Derrick Rose about 12 years ago now go down and
crushing.
We don't like it, but
fingers crossed no more this week.
Stay positive.
Guys, it has been a massive episode as always. The playoffs are running thick and fast. We're about to jump on a little IG live to announce the winner of our competition. Enjoy the upcoming week of basketball. Be sure to like, subscribe, tune into all of our social medias. Use that code just down in the link. Manscaped. Dribble 20% off, free shipping, and we will recap all the news from the playoff action next week.
Yes, sir.
Guys, till then, Lee, love you, bye.